African kingdoms, from ancient Sudan to medieval Zimbabwe. These are African kingdoms. Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Sephora Moses and I welcome you to Ink and Tales. If you love history, ink and tales, please subscribe to my channel and push the notification bell to be notified when next I upload. I would love to have you around. Now, let's dive right into it. These are African kingdoms. 1. The Kingdom of Kush. Although often overshadowed by its Egyptian neighbors to the north, the Kingdom of Kush stood as a regional power in Africa for over 1,000 years. This ancient Nubian empire reached its peak in the 2nd millennium BC, when it ruled over a vast swath of territory along the Nile River in what is now Sudan. Almost all that is known about Kush comes from Egyptian sources, which indicates that it was an economic center that operated a lucrative market in ivory, incense, iron, and especially gold. The kingdom was once a trading partner and a military rival of Egypt. It even ruled Egypt as the 25th dynasty, and it adopted many of its neighbors' customs. The Kushites worshipped some of the Egyptian gods, mummified their dead, and built their own types of pyramids. The area surrounding the ancient Kushite capital of Meroe is now home to the ruins of over 200 pyramids, more than in all of Egypt. 2. The Oyo Empire. Yoruba land is the cultural region of the Yoruba people in West Africa. It spans the modern-day countries of Nigeria, Togo, and Benin. Its pre-modern history is based largely on oral traditions and legends. According to Yoruba religion, Oladumare, the supreme god, ordered Obatala to create the earth, but on Obatala's way, he found palm wine, which he drank and became intoxicated. Therefore, his younger brother, Oduduwa, took the 3 items of creation from him, climbed down from the heavens on a chain, and threw a handful of earth on the primordial ocean, then put a cockroach on it, so that it would scatter the earth, thus creating the land on which Lei Ife would be built. On account of his creation of the world, Oduduwa became the ancestor of the first divine king of the Yoruba, while Obatala is believed to have created the first Yoruba people out of clay. The meaning of the word Ife in Yoruba is expansion. Lei Ife is therefore in reference to the myth of origin, the land of expansion. 3. The Land of Punt. Few African civilizations are as mysterious as Punt. Historical accounts of the kingdom date to around 2500 BC, when it appears in Egyptian records as a land of the gods, rich in ebony, gold, maya, and exotic animals such as apes and leopards. The Egyptians are known to have sent huge caravans and flotillas on trade missions to Punt, most notably during the 15th century BC, reign of Queen Hatshepsut, yet they never identified where it was located. The site of the fabled kingdom is now a hotly debated topic among scholars. The Arabian Peninsula and the Levant have both been proposed as potential candidates, but most believe it existed somewhere on the Red Sea coast of East Africa. In 2010, a team of researchers tried to zero in on Punt by analyzing a mummified baboon that its rulers once gifted to the Egyptian pharaohs. While their results show that the remain mostly close-match animals found in modern-day Ethiopia and Eritrea, the precise location of the Land of Punt has still yet to be confirmed. 4. The Kingdom of Aksum. During the same period that the Roman Empire rose and fell, the influential Kingdom of Aksum had sway over parts of what are now Eritrea and northern Ethiopia. Surprisingly little is known about Aksum's origins, but by the 2nd and 3rd centuries AD, it was a trading juggernaut whose gold and ivory made it a vital link between ancient Europe and the Far East. The kingdom had a written script known as Ge'ez, one of the first to emerge in Africa, and it developed a distinctive architectural style that involved the building of massive stone obelisks, some of which stood over 100 feet tall. In the 4th century, Aksum became one of the first empires in the world to adopt Christianity, which led to a political and military alliance with the Byzantines. The empire later went into decline sometime around the 7th or 8th century, but its religious legacy still exists today in the form of the Ethiopian Orthodox Church. 5. The Mali Empire. The founding of the Mali Empire dates to the 1200s, when a ruler named Soundiata Keita, sometimes called the Lion King, led a revolt against a Soso king and united his subjects into a new state. Under Keita and his successors, the empire tightened its grip over a large portion of West Africa and grew rich on trade. Its most important cities were Djiani and Timbuktu, both of which were renowned for their elaborate adobe mosque and Islamic schools. One such institution, Timbuktu Sankore University, included a library with an estimated 700,000 manuscripts. The Mali Empire eventually disintegrated in the 16th century, but at its peak it was one of the jewels of the African continent and was known the world over for its wealth and luxury. One legendary tale about the kingdom's riches concerns the ruler Mansa Musa, who made a stopover in Egypt during a 14th century pilgrimage to Mecca. According to contemporary sources, Musa dished out so much gold during the visit that he caused its value to plummet in Egyptian markets for several years. 6. The Great Zimbabwe. One of the most impressive monuments in sub-Saharan Africa is the Great Zimbabwe, an imposing collection of stacked builders, stone towers, and defensive walls assembled from cut granite blocks. The rock fortress has long been the subject of myth and legends. It was once thought to be the residence of the biblical Queen of Sheba, but historians now know it as the capital of an indigenous empire that thrived in the region between the 13th and 15th centuries. The kingdom ruled over a large chunk of modern-day Botswana, Zimbabwe, and Mozambique. It was particularly rich in cattle and precious metals, and stood astride a trade route that connected the region's gold fields with ports on the Indian Ocean coast. Though little is known about its history, the remains of artifacts such as Chinese pottery, Arabian glass, and European textiles indicate that it was once a well-connected mercantile center. The fortress city at the Great Zimbabwe was mysteriously abandoned sometime in the 15th century after the kingdom went into decline, but in its heyday, it was home to an estimated 20,000 people. 7. The Ghana Empire. Disputed origins of the Ghana Empire. The Ghana Empire, called the Wagadu or Wagadu Empire by its rulers, was located in what is now southeastern Mauritania, western Mali, and eastern Senegal. There is no consensus on when precisely it originated, but its development is linked to the changes in trade that emerged throughout the centuries after the introduction of the camel to the Western Sahara 3rd century. By the time of the Muslim conquest of North Africa in the 7th century, the camel had changed the earlier, more irregular trade routes into a trade network running from Morocco to the Niger River. This regular and intensified trans-Saharan trade in gold, salt, and ivory allowed for the development of larger urban centers and encouraged territorial expansion to gain control over different trade routes. The Ghana ruling dynasty was first mentioned in written records in 830, and thus the 9th century is sometimes identified as the empire's beginning. In the medieval Arabic sources, the word Ghana can refer to a royal title, the name of a capital city, or a kingdom. 8. Carthage. Tunisia Carthage, best known as ancient Roma's rival in the Punic Wars. Carthage was a North Africa commercial hub that flourished for over 500 years. The city-state began its life in the 8th and 9th century BC as a Phoenician settlement in what is now Tunisia, but it later grew into a sprawling seafaring empire that dominated trade in textiles, gold, silver, and copper. At its peak, its capital city boasted nearly 500,000 inhabitants and included a protected harbor outfitted with docking bays for 220 ships. Carthage's influence eventually extended from North Africa to Spain and parts of the Mediterranean, but its thirst for expansion led to increased friction with the burgeoning Roman Republic. Beginning in 264 BC, the ancient superpowers clashed in the three bloody Punic Wars, the last of which ended in 146 BC, with the near total destruction of Carthage. Today, almost all that remains of the once mighty empire is a series of ruins in the city of Tunis. 9. The Songhai Empire, also translated as Songhai, was a state that dominated the western Sahel in the 15th and 16th centuries. At its peak, it was one of the largest states in African history. The state is known by its historiographical name, derived from its leading ethnic group and ruling elite, the Songhai. Sonny Ali established Goy as the capital of the empire. Although a Songhai state has existed in and around Gao since the 11th century, other important cities in the empire were Timbuktu and Diani, conquered in 1468 and 1475, respectively. Initially, the empire was ruled by the Sonny dynasty, c. 1464 to 1493, but it was later replaced by the Askia dynasty, 1493 to 1591. These are African kingdoms. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in my next one.